one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power.
Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Midtown, Atlanta, where you are welcome. Such is the nature of life, that all it asks and all it wants is the opportunity to appear. And you are that opportunity. So am I. So it is. Whoever you are, whatever path brought you here today, please know that you are welcome and celebrated. We know who you are. You are an individualized expression of the divine life in which we all live. We are life's opportunity to be someone unique and wonderful. Whatever your ethnic background, religious affiliation, however you come to know yourself or describe yourself, you are welcome, and we're glad you're joining us here today. So here's our vision statement. We are a strong, open, globally connected community centered on the clarity of principle through teaching, service, and practice. We create a safe and respectful environment that supports healthy spiritual growth. And for a little bit more of who we are, our Declaration of Principles is written by our founder, Ernest Holmes.
A few of the Declaration of Principles we live by.
I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding.
I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
So grateful, hey.
So a practitioner is someone who's demonstrated the ability to use spiritual practices and spiritual laws to bring about great changes in their lives. And they can bring about great changes in others when asked. So they're licensed by the Centers for Spiritual Living, and they're available to provide you spiritual guidance and support in those areas where you might need help. You can see who our practitioners are on our website, cslmidtown.org, and scroll. Well, actually, there's a banner at the top about who we are and our practitioners. And we've got one of our amazing practitioners with us today, Maya Fuller, who's going to give us share some ideas and do a spiritual mind treatment. So thank you, Maya.
Thank you, Vance. Good morning, CSL Midtown. As we prepare for our speaker today, let's take this opportunity to prepare our minds and our hearts to receive the truth and allow the truth to minister to our souls. We begin by knowing that there is only one God, the Great Spirit, the Alpha, the Omega, the wisdom and the inspiration of all that is good. This Great Spirit is individualized in me, through me, as me. It is in all, through all, as all, everywhere present. There's no place where this goodness of God is not. It is all love, all action, all intelligence. It is universal mind And I am the expression of it. You are the expression of it. We are the expression of this universal mind. All that God is, I am. And all is well. I gain a greater grasp of life as all becomes clearer to me. I know that I am immersed in right action every day. My heart and my mind are open to the realization of a higher idea of life, of light, of love, peace, power, beauty, wisdom, joy. I let go of any and all limiting, preconceived, and currently conceived ideas and notions that I may have, and I expand my horizons. I realize that as I change my mind, I change my experiences. Therefore, I consciously choose to move beyond any worry, doubt, or fear of what the future might bring. I look beyond any circumstances, any conditions, any experiences of lack, limitation, or confusion. And I know that I am, in fact, surrounded by a circle of protection, enveloped by a circle of protection, immersed in a boundless sea of clarity and peace and abundant good of all kinds. I accept this as the truth. I believe this as the truth. I know this is the truth of my being and of the very truth of being itself. That God the good is with me in every situation, through every experience, and therefore, regardless of any temporary appearance, only good shall manifest. So, right now, I invite, I permit, and I direct the power within me to flow forth through me as supreme health, joyous, creative self expression, deeply meaningful, loving, lasting, joyous relationships, and overflowing abundance of all kinds. Abundance of time, money, health, wealth, freedom, great living. And my heart is filled with joy. And my heart is filled with thanksgiving right now as I release my word and I witness the perfect outworking of the law of mind to bring these blessings into my life, into your life, into everyone's life. I speak this word for myself. I speak this word for everyone listening. And I speak this word for everyone who has a heart and a mind that's open to receive this love of God in the form of all forms of abundant good. So I bless this session today at CSL Midtown. And I bless Midtowns all across America, all across the world. God bless America. God bless the world. May everyone have everything they need. May everyone have everything they need and that their heart's desires. Because we're all children of God, all children of the Most High. We're all deserving, and there is abundance available to everyone. So I let go and I let God, which is in all, through all, as all, do its thing and manifest abundant blessings. and I give thanks, and I let it be, and so it is. Amen. And now for our music.
What do I want my day to be? I choose. What do I want to feel today? I choose. What do I want to be today? I choose. I choose, I choose, I choose. I choose. Today, I choose to be grateful, so grateful. Today, I choose to be grateful, grateful. Today, I choose to be grateful, so grateful. Today, I choose to be grateful, grateful. Today, I choose to be happy, so happy. Today, I choose to be happy, happy. Today, I choose to be peaceful, so peaceful. Today, I choose to be peaceful, peaceful. Whatever I choose is how my day's gonna be. I claim what I want, 'cause it's all up to me. Today, I choose to be loving, so loving. Today, I choose to be loving, loving. Today, I choose to be joyful, so joyful. Today, I choose to be joyful, joyful. Today, I choose. Today, I choose. Today, I choose. Today, I choose. Whatever I choose is how my day's gonna be. I claim what I want, 'cause it's all up to me. It's all up to me. Today, I choose to be thankful, so thankful. Today, I choose to be thankful, thankful. Oh, today, I choose to be grateful, so grateful. Today, I choose to be grateful, grateful. Every day to be grateful, grateful. Every day I'm gonna be grateful, grateful. I am grateful, grateful.
So, it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker this morning. Reverend Jeff Radcliff began his spiritual journey as a child, learning about ways different cultures express spirituality. Reverend Jeff graduated from the International Metaphysical Ministry, IMM, in 2011 with a degree in metaphysical sciences. He's also a graduate from Samaritan Institute with a degree in divine science, and he was ordained at the 107th International New Thought Alliance, INTA, World Congress in Chicago in 2022. Reverend Jeff is on track to receive his master's in metaphysical studies, and his goal is to get or earn his doctorate with IMM. Reverend Jeff is a lifetime member of IMM, the International New Thought Alliance, Divine Science Federation International, and the affiliated New Thought Network. He's on the board of the Divine Science Ministers Association, and he is their representative on the board of DSFI. He co-hosts Divine Science Everywhere on New Thought Media Network, where you are seeing this, on Friday afternoons. He also co-hosts Friday Fireside Chat, also on New Thought Media Network. His online work is through Giati, Giati, and it stands for God is All There Is. You'll find Giati at facebook.com/Giati Ministries. He's known for his ability to find common ground with just about everyone he meets, and he refers to himself as a spiritual cheerleader. Welcome, Reverend Jeff.
Thank you so much, Vance. And Midtown, I had a great time the last time I was here with you, and I'm so happy to be back with you. I kind of was a little taken aback when I looked at my calendar and I realized that this was also the day that we changed the clocks. And so I'm still trying to get a little bit adjusted to that. And today, in case you're interested, is National Peanut Cluster Day. So if you happen to see a group of peanuts clustering together, feel free to eat them. Now, before we begin, let's join together in just a real quick centering moment. So settle in with your eyes closed and take a deep breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Again, breathe in and breathe out. Once more, breathe in and breathe out. And focus on my words. In this now moment, we affirm our sovereignty of mind. We affirm our identity as creative beings. We allow our thoughts to center on the reality that we shape circumstances intentionally. We see beyond conditions. We know beyond fear. We claim as our nature the mind of God. And in so doing, we invite all solutions, all openings, all pathways to an ever-expanding experience of life. And so it is. Amen. You know, lately the world has presented us with a lot of conditions that seem kind of scary. There's some wild stuff going on in our country and all over the world. But more than one thing can be true at one time. And as we see these scary conditions, we know that there's also good that we can focus on. When we see the conditions in our lives and our worlds, it gives us the opportunity to know that while there's chaos, we can still see order. We get to choose our focus, we get to choose our thoughts, and we get to choose to surrender to the power greater than we are. Surrendering the conditions to the power greater than we are sets us up to be available for what lies beyond those conditions. Seeing the conditions in the world and in our lives invites us to experience the nature of change. And remember that those conditions are effects, they aren't cause. Ernest Holmes wrote that principle is not bound by precedents, and that allows us to choose. Will we be available to principle, or will we choose another focus? We're not bound by what happened to us in the past. We can move forward. We're one with spirit. We're creative beings, and our identity is that of the Creator. All the qualities of God are our qualities. Now, some of those qualities we tap into regularly. Others we express a little less often, and still other qualities lie dormant, waiting for us to discover them and to make use of them. What God is in the absolute, we are in the potential, and it's up to us to make use of our potential as we see fit to the best of our ability. So whether we align ourselves with principle or align ourselves with something else, we are constantly creating. And now, more than ever in these turbulent days, it's imperative that we're aligned with spirit. That means seeing the conditions and choosing for ourselves the thoughts and feelings that we have about them. And it's not always easy because we can allow ourselves to become overwhelmed, swept up by feelings that aren't really ours. We drop our guard and inadvertently surrender to the crowd mindset. Jung called it the collective unconscious. Ernest Holmes called it race mind. Now, because we get to choose our thoughts, sometimes we drop our guard, and it's pretty easy to get caught up in race mind. We've been taught from little on up that this is this thing over here is dangerous, that person over here is dangerous. We don't like people of that particular skin color. And if you heard that one growing up, think back. Did you ever hear a reason why we're not supposed to like people of different colors, different skin colors? I'll bet you didn't. We were taught not to go into that part of town at night. Don't pet strange dogs. Run away from that person. We like to blame our fears on our egos. But where did the ego get those fears in the first place? From race consciousness, because these aren't just fears that are exclusive to my family or your family. People around the world have been feeding fear for a very long time, thousands of years. And fear is a very powerful thing. It can take on a life of its own, and it's a dangerous thing if it gets out of hand. Think back to the events of January 6th, 2021. Out of one little seed of fear that had been planted long before that day, the seed germinated, it sprouted and grew and demonstrated a harvest that we're still reaping on some level today. People who got caught up in the chaos and totally abandoned their ability to think for themselves gave themselves over to the fear in the collective unconscious, and they ran with it. And it's not just big events like January 6th, it's little things too. Things like, don't go out with wet hair in the winter or you'll catch a cold. If you touch a frog, you'll get warts. These are adages that have taken on a life of their own because they have lived in race mind for years and years. And now they're firmly entrenched. Here's one that I heard as a kid, which my late mom, this was her contribution to the collective unconscious. She'd always tell us, don't swallow your chewing gum or you'll glue your guts together. So when you hear things like that as a small child, it tends to make the child fearful. And then later on, the child becomes an adult and will pass on those same fear-filled pieces of advice to their own children. But these fearful thoughts don't come from nowhere. They start somewhere. And kids talk at school. They talk about these things that they hear their parents saying. They spread it around to their friends, and their friends talk to other kids. And that's how stuff ends up becoming race mind material. Spirit is always around, and spirit is listening. And when we affirm what these things are for us, it becomes our truth, becomes our reality. And when we fall into the trap of race mind thinking, we're creating by default. We're buying into somebody else's ideas, other people's fears, their scared rabbit way of showing up in the world. And then we demonstrate events and circumstances in our own lives that we don't want, things that are happening to us because we've turned control over to somebody else, and life is happening to us. We become victims of other people's mistaken beliefs. But you know what? That's not why we're here. We're here to create the new, the exciting, the different. It's how we add to the infinity that is God. Thomas Troward said that our minds are a center of divine operation, and that divine operation is for expansion and fuller expression. And he went on to say that this means that the production of something beyond what has gone before, something entirely new, not included in our past experiences, though proceeding out of it by orderly sequence of growth. Therefore, since the divine cannot change its inherent nature, it must operate in the same manner in me and in you and in everyone else in the world. And so, consequently, in my special world in which I am the center, I get to move forward to produce new conditions, which always advance in of anything that has gone before. And it's the same for you and everybody else on the planet. It's taking the bull by the horn, so to speak. And when we do that, we're creating consciously. In his book, Being and Becoming, Fenwick Holmes wrote, "Man is endowed with perfect freedom and can make his life what he will by his conscious choices." So, in order to maintain these conscious choices and to not fall prey to the petty, fearful thoughts of race mind, it's important to remain aligned with principle. And when we look at some of the troubling events going on in the world around us, we know that the spiritual principle is our anchor. It's our anchor. We can remain steadfast when everything about us is falling apart. Spiritual principle creates according to the pattern impressed upon it. We're fond of saying, Spirit always says yes. And it's going to say yes to whatever negativity we choose to focus on, but it's also going to say yes to the good that we choose to focus on. In Scripture, Philippians 4:8 says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." It's in the thinking of these noble, pure, lovely ideas that we counteract the negativity that's found in the race mind. So when we encounter the bad things in life, when we watch the news and see disorder and chaos, when someone comes to us with a tragic tale of woe, how do we meet that? Do we commiserate? Do we say, "Oh no, that's terrible"? If someone comes to us angry about something, do we also get angry on their behalf? Do we use our anger as a show of solidarity? If so, we're fixing to bring in some of that angry vibe back down on our heads, and we're creating by default. If we are to remember that there is one mind, an omnipresence that contains all love, all wisdom, and the power to bring that love and wisdom to the fore, if we're able to remember that we're one with that mind and we can use it, then we open up avenues of rich abundance and blessing. Ernest Holmes wrote that God is spirit, spirit is substance, and substance is supply. The good, the bad, the indifferent, it's all in spirit, and it all comes back to us. Do we allow other people to decide for us what we are entitled to receive? Or do we decide for ourselves? It all comes back to monitoring our thoughts. That's the main message I've been preaching online for several years now. New thought ain't for sissies. The concept is pretty simple, but it's not easy. What we put out into the world, we get back. Psalm 141 verse 3 says, "Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth, keep the door of my lips." And where do these words originate? They come straight out of our mind. The big M mind of spirit contains all our thoughts, all of our thoughts, everything, good or bad. And if we're not careful which thoughts we're thinking, the next thing you know, you're speaking them out into the ethers. Nikola Tesla said, if you want the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration. Our thoughts are energy, and they have a vibration all their own. And our words are energy, and their vibrational frequency is a little higher than our thoughts, but together they carry enough energy to bring substance into form. Our assignment then is to watch those thoughts, which come automatically when we encounter something. Words can come even quicker. Have you ever heard someone say something offensive or off color and then say, I don't know why I said that. I don't know where that came from. It came from where a lot of our troubles come from. It came from race mind. That person spoke without thinking, and the thoughts they drew on to form their words weren't their thoughts at all. And that's why we need to watch, put that watch before our mouth. Sometimes we need to lock the door of our lips, because if we don't lock the door of our lips and we speak something from race mind, we're creating by default. And that's why we need to return our thoughts to the quote from Philippians and think on the good and the pure and the admirable. Because when we do that, when we take control, we create with intention, we create deliberately. And one way that we can make creation a conscious and deliberate thing in our lives is to return to the book of Philippians, this time in chapter 2, verse 5, which says, Let this mind be in you, which was also in Jesus the Christ. And Apostle Paul went on to say in verse 6 that Christ, who being in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God. And the idea that I'm equal with God was one I wrestled with for a very long time. I remember in the mid-'80s watching Shirley MacLaine's 2-night miniseries, Out on a Limb, and the scene on the beach with our friend David where he has her close her eyes with her arms outstretched at her side and then to declare, I am God. I was scandalized. I came up in fundamental Christianity, and that was what I was taught that Lucifer said right before God tossed his butt out of heaven. So I sat with the idea, I am God, and explored it after finding new thought and factoring in that I'm an individual expression of divine omnipresence and realizing that God and I are indeed one. We're on that same level. And that brought Philippians 2, 5, and 6 back to me. And I understood how I could have the same mind that was in the Christ and how it's not robbery to put myself on equal footing with God. The same mind that was in the Christ is also the basis for conscious, deliberate creation. Jesus went around healing people, lepers, the blind, the lame. He cast out demons, which we understand now are those mistaken ideas that separate us from spirit. So that idea, again, of having the Christ mind was making all kinds of connections in my finite human mind. Jesus called Lazarus out of the grave because he knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that the power of omnipresence could do it. And Lazarus' sister doubted and even offered a weak protest that he'd been dead for 3 days. He was moldering in that tomb. She was operating on race mind level, and Lazarus would still be wrapped up in his burial shroud today if the Christed one hadn't been there to show her a better way. And there was a man who came to Jesus and said that his son was possessed by demons that were trying to kill him. They threw him into the fire to burn him alive, and they threw him into the sea to drown. And the man asked Jesus to heal his son. And the Christ said, All things are possible to him that believes. And the man said, I believe, but help my unbelief. And I recognize myself in that statement. As a metaphysician, I know a bit about how all this stuff works, and I believe it works. But there are still times when doubt rears its head, and I have to go back into scripture and into other spiritual reading to make those connections again, to strengthen my alignment with spirit so that I can overcome the doubt and resume creating deliberately. Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman borrowed a phrase from the 12-step movement. She said, it works if you work it. And Reverend Ike used to say, you can't lose with the stuff I use. They were master manifestors, deliberately creating the life they wanted to live. We're New Thought metaphysicians in the 21st century, and we stand on the shoulders of giants. We had people like Emma Curtis Hopkins, Melinda Kramer and Nona Brooks of Divine Science, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore of Unity, Ernest Holmes of Religious Science, and so many others. They were human, just like we are. Emma didn't start out as the teacher of teachers. She had to learn this stuff the same way you and I did. And so did the rest of those New Thought luminaries. It took Myrtle Fillmore 2 years to fully align with principle and gain her healing. It took Charles Fillmore some time to receive his healing, but he got it. Both Melinda Kramer and Nona Brooks received healings as well. If they can do it, so can I. So can you. But we don't do it by falling prey to the traps of the unconscious race mind. We can do it only by conscious, deliberate creation. And we can do that if we do what St. Paul instructed, to think on the good and only the good. Then we put that watch before our lips and the door on our mouths. We hear again Tesla's words to remember that the universe is energy, frequency, and vibration, and then align ourselves with that good, the pure and the lovely. We align ourselves with our good as Emma taught us, was God. We picture Shirley MacLaine on that beach, and like her, we declare, I am God. And then we get out of the way and let Spirit do its stuff. We let God be God through us. And that's how we toss creation by default out the window and master the art of deliberate creation. Thank you so much.
Unmute. Thank you, John. And yeah, like you said, it's all about our thinking, right? Conscious choice.
Exactly.
Thank you for that talk, and we will see you over on Zoom in a little bit for a discussion.
See you in a bit.
Thanks. All right. All right, everybody. It's time for our new minister sacred covenant easy prayer. And if you would say this with me, you can also download this from our website, cslmidtown.org. There's only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express spirit, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of spirit as principle. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by God. For it is written, principle is not bound by precedent. It operates according to law and is always available to those who are willing to align themselves with it. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister before me as inspiring spiritual oneness through wisdom, love, and authenticity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself. For I am inspired to live as love in the expression of principle. I am awakening the wisdom within me by clearly communicating the principles of universal truth. I am a conduit of divine love, wisdom, and healing energy, recognizing the inherent wholeness within all beings. I am offering teachings, classes, and mystical studies grounded in spiritual principles to cultivate inner wisdom, personal transformation, and empowered living. I am extending the love, compassion, and transformative power of spirit into the wider community, fostering connections that heal, uplift, and support individuals in their unique journeys. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they will be revealed in a way that will express spirit and serve as the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful. God is gracious, and so it is. And now it's time for our conscious giving. And with that, for those of you that are online, listen to this, get some kind of conscious goodness from this every week. We invite you to set up an ongoing donation, $5, $10 a month, whatever serves you for what you believe you're receiving from the goodness of what we're presenting to you. Because it does cost money to do this. So here's our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. You can go to cslmidtown.org/donate to set up that contribution, or scan the QR code on the screen. It'll take you to the same place. Thanks for all you do to support us. And we got a couple of announcements. I'd like to thank Maya Fuller for being our practitioner today. And next week, we have Reverend Deb Hammond speaking on Lost and Found, the self you never lost. If you don't know, we've got an adult study group that's reading the Science of Mind textbook. It starts at 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings before the service. And you can join them on our Zoom link. Go to cslmidtown.org and scroll down to the bottom, click on the link to the Zoom, and that will take you right there. You can get that's all good. Thank you so much for being here. And if you want to join us, you're online, come over to Zoom now after this and have a discussion with Reverend Drucker. So here's our affirmation of life. I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. And so it is. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Hey! Oh yeah. Grateful. I just say I am so grateful every day for all I have. Every day. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all I have. Every day I say it. Grateful. How I'm grateful. Every day. Oh yeah. I am so grateful. Oh yeah. I'm so grateful. 'Cause I accept and I receive. I am so grateful. Oh yes, I am. I am. So grateful, hey, grateful. I'll just count my blessings. Grateful. I just count my blessings.
There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.